we're going to talk about the evolution of the Philippine Constitution. So this is part of our readings in Philippine history subject under the social, economic, and political issues that is being taken up in the subject. So right now, we're going to talk about the Philippine Constitution. So what is the Philippine Constitution? First, we have to learn what Constitution is. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it outlines the framework of government and the rights of its citizens. So this one will help us also understand its evolution, so we can also grasp the political history of our country. So a constitution is the most important law of the country because it contains the official declaration of our form of government, its structures and the powers, and the rights and duties of the citizens. So let's start with the Spanish colonial era. So the first drafting or the first set of laws that was established in the Philippines was was also present during the central government under Spain. So when the Spaniards have colonized the Philippines for 333 years, that's from 1565 to 1898, they made changes in our Philippine government. So well, we have our local rules, and when these colonizers came, they had placed their own set of rules, which will be answerable to the government of Spain. So the central government under Spain was established in the Philippines. So many independent barangays of our ancestors disappeared, and only one government ruled most of our country. So for the first time in our history, we become united as one nation because during the pre-colonial era of Spain, our ancestors have their own territories, which we call barangays, and each of them have their own set of rules, which they use to govern each barangay. But under the Spanish era, Philippine territory became different. These differences in the rules that they made were as follows. So the Philippines, the islands of the Philippines were included in the archipelagos which belong to the Spanish colony. So these islands are now no longer part of, these islands are already part of the colonies of Spain. So most of Mindanao and Sulu were excluded. Bakit nung time na to, Spain claimed supreme power, pero hindi nila ma-reach yung Muslims or the Moros. They were not conquered by Spain. So inferior mountains or regions of Luzon and Visayas were also excluded. Hindi rin nila maabot. But most of the tribes ng highlands lang dito sa Luzon, including the Ifugaos and the Igorots, sila lang po yung mga naging independent from the Spaniard conquerors. Hindi sila naabot, and also Luzon and Visayas. So the Philippines as a colony of Spain from the time of Legazpi, naudlot lamang po ito nang dumating po ang mga Amerikano noong 1898. So being a colony means our land and our people belong to the Spanish monarch. And the Filipinos practically has no say kung sino po magro-rule sa kanila and paano ito ina-apply ang mga batas na to and ano yung mga karapatan nila. In short, our rulers, our laws, and our rights were all dictated by Spain. Okay, so under the Spanish colonial era, they have their first constitution-like document, which was the Royal Cedula in 1865. The Spanish regime impose laws without local representation. Meron silang Gobernador General, the Governor General, who is practically the little president po, o siya yung representative ng King of Spain in the Philippines. So the Governor General in Manila will distribute the laws and the taxations to provincial alcaldes or city alcaldes or alcalde mayor. Then the gobernadorcillos and the lowest ruler in every barangay would be the cabeza de barangay or the barangay captain in our present day. So these laws, the laws of the Philippines were made by the Spanish. Hindi po tayo may hawak nito. We did not make any law at all, but tayo po ay tagasunod lamang. So most of these laws were for the benefit of Spain and the Spaniards. Alam naman natin yan, ano, and not for the Filipinos. However, some of these laws were good and implements the Christian doctrine. Human and child sacrifices, which was practiced by our ancestors, was abolished, and divorce and polygamy were also banned. So we all know that most of our ancestors were were all pagans mostly, di ba? Iba-iba yung sinasamba nila. But during the Christian era of the Spanish colonial government, these laws have been abolished and Christianity was also established as part of the law na ini-implement po dito sa Philippines. Other Spanish laws covered such subjects as penal law, which is like kung paano ka makukulong, civil code, code of commerce, and copyright law. So these laws, how did these laws affect the rights of the Filipinos during this period? So marami po ang nagrereklamo sa mga patakaran ng Spain ng time na yon because some of the implementors or the executioners of these laws have also abused their power over the Filipinos. Now, we move on. Later on, nang dumating po ang mga Americans during the American colonial period, going back there pala sa Royal Cedula, ito po yung cedula na yan po yung pinunit ni Andres Bonifacio as a signal of the Philippine Revolution, as a start of the Philippine Revolution. Because yun ay parang, kumbaga, if you go into the global world nowadays, it's your passport around the Philippines. So without your cedula, that's your national ID at the time. Ibig sabihin ay you are not part of the Philippine government and you can be imprisoned without it. But as a sign of declaration of independence from the Spanish colony, Andres Bonifacio and his companions have tore their cedula or their royal cedula as a symbol of their declaration ng paghihiwalay at paghihimagsik against the Spanish government. Revisiting your Philippine history, the Philippine Revolution began in 1896 and ended only in 1901. So with the help of the Americans, the Filipinos thought the Americans were actually helping them, but later on, we realized that the American imperialists only replaced the Spaniard conquerors. So the first part of the revolution was a success. However, the Filipinos, for the first part, the Filipinos got rid of the Spaniards. Pero we learned later on that the Americans have actually a different agenda in helping us. So on August 1896, it was the start of Bonifacio leading the tearing of his resident certificate or his cedula. It was the symbol of the Spanish opposition of the Filipinos. However, the execution also of Jose Rizal and the other martyrs have also contributed to the what do you call this one, to the to the rebellion of the Filipinos with the Spaniards. So at the dawn, when Rizal was executed, uh, it was also one of the things that encouraged the Filipinos to fight against the Spanish colonizers. Now, when the Americans came, dito naman po naganap ang Spanish-American War. So this war between the United States and the Spain happened in 1898. So after a few months later, the Americans actually, the Spaniard, Spain has surrendered the Philippines to the Americans, not to the Filipinos. So medyo nagkaroon po ng komplikasyon dito sa part na to because Aguinaldo was actually thinking na kakampihan tayo ng mga Amerikano, but then it did not happen. And so during the American colonial period, na sila na yung namuno naman at na humawak ng Philippines, the Philippine Bill of 1902 introduced itself as a form of self-governance. So ito na sana ini-encourage na nila na magkaroon tayo ng sarili nating gobyerno. But it was not yet at the time na ganyan. So there's also the Jones Law of 1916 which further expanded the legislative powers of the Filipinos. So for the years na hinawakan po natin po tayo nila ay yun po, nag-establish din po sila ng sariling government na mag-i-encourage sa atin to become independent later after ilang years. And so the Americans were like teaching us how to run our own government. Ito po, in-encourage din nila tayo, and then with the help of their democratic constitution in the America as basis ng atin pong government din dito sa Philippines, patterned through their own democratic government, ay tinuruan po tayo nila na magkaroon ng independent na constitution. But during the American colonial period, meron po silang sariling batas na ini-implement sa atin until na such time na we form our own first Philippine Republic and first Philippine Republic and independent na tayo sa kanila. So under the so that's why they established the Commonwealth Constitution. So this Commonwealth Institution in 1935 established ang government of the Philippines. At dito na tayo nagkaroon ng unang Pilipinong presidente. So it provided for a presidential system and a bicameral legislature. So meron na tayong Senate and Congress. So how did this constitution reflect the aspirations of the Filipinos for independence? So to answer that question is that the constitution has been guided, tulad ng sinabi ko from the previous slide, it is guided by the constitution of a democratic country of the United States. And we are being given the power from providing us with our own president, Filipino president, and the bicameral legislature, which is the Senate and the Congress. Sila po yung magbubuo ng batas. So, pinabayaan tayo ng Amerika with their guidance to form our own Commonwealth Constitution. So even during the time that the Philippines was attacked by Japan, during the Second World War, the Philippines was established as a part of United States. So of course, the Filipinos had no choice but to cooperate with the Americans. Fortunately, the Americans kept their end of the bargain and treated the Filipinos very well. So the Filipinos who live under the American generally speak well of the American colonial era.
So, the American colonial policy was easier compared to the policies that were given by the Spaniards. In what way? The reasons were as follows. So number one, the Americans said they would go as soon as the Filipinos could stand on their own as a free nation. So from the beginning, the Philippines talaga, the Americans told the Philippines that they would not be a colony forever. They promised to train the Filipinos in democracy and self-government. That's why they established these Commonwealth institutions. So the Commonwealth Constitution, sorry. So the American developed the economy, improved the hygiene and sanitation, and introduced popular education for all. So dito na po nag-umpisa yung University of the Philippines. Most of the teachers there noon sa panahon ng Amerikano na established. So the Filipinos adopted American ways as well. So the way we talk, the way we eat, the way we drink and dress. So if you were watching Pulang Araw, nakikita nyo po yung style po ng mga damit nung time na yon, even the vaudeville, di ba? That's the American way of entertaining the Filipinos. So meron tayong mga Pilipinong artista nung time na yon before the Japanese soldiers came. So under the American colonial government, nagkaroon ng military government muna nung una to establish the first set ng rules na kailangang sundin ng government. So please take note of this. The first government that under the American colonial government is the military government. So ito po ay in-establish for only 3 years during the Filipino-American War. Kasi di ba nung nalaman ni Aguinaldo that Spain sold the Philippines to US and they only had a mock battle, di ba? And yun pala ay binenta pala ang Pilipinas to US. So imbes na we thought that US was helping us, we only transferred from one colonizer to another. So this time there were military governors who was in charge of the rules and policies in the Philippines. Then nagkaroon po ng civil government, second from the military government. So this was run by American civilian officers or officials which were appointed by the American president. So meron po silang mga civilians na pumunta dito para mag-govern na parang governor general na equivalent ng Spanish governor general na representative naman ng King of Spain. So then, sumunod po ng civil government, we had the Philippine Commissions. Nung nagkaroon ng commissions, sila yung mga nagkaroon lamang ng American Special Advisors galing sa President ng US na pinadala sa Philippines para maturuan ang mga Pilipino sa pagiging independent na sa pamamalakad ng ng ating country. So, the first Philippine Commission, yun nga, at saka second Philippine Commission, sunod-sunod po yan ng mga pinadala to establish the independence of the Filipinos. So, Filipino participation sa government noon, sa pagbubuo ng mga batas, the Americans shared power with the Filipinos unlike sa Spanish imperialist. So, tayo binibigyan tayo ng chance to be heard, and true to their word, they appointed Filipinos in important positions in the government. So, this was yung experiment na to, na binigay po sa atin ng US ay mas nagbigay sa atin ng chance or nag-encourage sa atin para nag-encourage sa atin to become more independent. And we prove naman dahil habang tumatagal ay lalong nagiging mas masigasig ang mga Filipinos to a point even until the local government. So, these local governments nung huli, pati po itong Supreme Court or ang Supreme Court po na pinakamataas na rangko po ng government natin dito na in-establish sa Philippines ay binigay din po sa isang Pilipino. So in the civil service or lower positions in the government, more and more Filipinos were given also permanent job. So when you say civil service jobs, these are government jobs na kailangan mo, di ba, nag-i-exam tayo for the civil service just to become government employees. So kami naman as teachers, we have the PRC or the Philippine Regulation Commission. Kami po yung, yan po yung magiging ticket namin to serve as teachers in the public government. So, ang iba naman, civil service, ito po ay in-establish din nila, civil service code, at kailangan mo munang pumasa sa civil service exam bago ka maging government official or government employee. So, the greatest participation of the Filipinos in the colonial government was making their own law. Gumawa sila ng sarili natin ang mga batas. So, sa susunod ko na to, ang pag-uusapan natin ay yung kanilang mga ginawang batas. So, in 1902, the first bill, tulad po ng sinabi ko kanina dun sa previous slide, the first Philippine Bill of 1992 was passed by Congress. So, out of this Philippine Assembly, nagkaroon po tayo ng nearly 100% of voters ay law-making body. This one ay members. This one is the first free national election in the Philippines for members of the all-Filipino lawmaking body. So, lahat ng gumawa ng batas natin, wala na pong Amerikano. Mga Pilipino na lang ang gumawa ng batas. So, the Philippine legislature, okay, was inaugurated in 1916. Na meron na tayong Senate and House of Representatives with Manuel L. Quezon as President of the Senate and Sergio Osmeña as the Speaker of the House. Okay? So, now, since there is the establishment of the legislation or the lawmaking body, this all-Filipino Philippine legislative now has the power to create laws or batas.
So to continue with our next slide, so the American colonial era in the Philippines is reflected in the country's constitutions in several ways. So kanina sinabi po natin yung 1935 Commonwealth Constitution, which it's established the presidential system of the government and limited land ownership and access to natural resources to the Filipinos and majority Filipino corporations. So dito, na-establish na po na mga Pilipino na po magpapatakbo ng sarili nilang government during the Commonwealth Constitution. Now, may saglit na naging gap ang era ng mga Americans sa atin, and that was because of the arrival of the Japanese occupation or during the time of the Japanese occupation from 1941 to 1945. The 1943 Constitution was drafted by a committee appointed by the Japanese to administer the Philippines after invading it in 1942. So, after establishing themselves, and in 1941, after the few hours after Pearl Harbor was bombed and destroyed by the Japanese troops, they have reached the Philippine Islands and already tried to occupy our country. So, but in 1942, it was only in 1942, the next year, that the Japanese government has already stabilized itself in the Philippines. And so, in the next year, in 1943, the Constitution was created under their rule. So, it aimed to establish a puppet government and was also short-lived. And it established a republic with a stronger executive and direct legislatives, but it was never recognized as legitimate by the U.S. or Philippine government in exile. So because our Philippine government at that time fled to the United States and was living in Washington, D.C. So si Pira Laurel was a Filipino lawyer and served as the president of the Philippines during the Japanese occupation on World War II. Okay? The purpose of the 1943 institution is to actually is to actually maintain the Filipinos' loyalty to the Japanese government. If you have watched the teleserye of GMA nowadays, there's a famous teleserye which is Pulang Araw. Yun po, the history of the Philippines under the Japanese occupation is all found there. So, medyo, syempre, may cinematographic details yan na dinadagdag, but all in all, it shows the life of the Filipinos during the Japanese occupation. So later, the Commonwealth government also, when the Japanese surrendered, the last Japanese troops surrendered in 1945, the Commonwealth government was restored, and also the plans of the Americans to fully grant the independence of the Filipinos. Now, for post-war constitution, the 1946 constitution restored the Commonwealth framework, and it emphasized on civil liberties and democratic principles. Now, those post-war contexts has shaped the new constitution, and it also dictated kung ano po mga kailangan ng ating government at that time. So, this post-war constitution actually was a transitional law, or also known as the Freedom Constitution, and that was intended to ensure democracy, freedom, and an orderly transfer of power from the Americans to the Filipinos. So, in 1945, it established the Philippines as an independent country, not just from the Japanese, but also from the Americans. So, the Philippines gained independence from the Americans on July 4, 1946, and the country's constitution was amended to reflect the new status. So, from the 1935 Commonwealth Constitution, marami po silang dinagdag or inamend or pinalitan. And it's an example of this is the Bell Trade Act. So, this act was passed by the United States Congress and required the Philippines to amend its constitution. So the act included provisions such as yung mga tariffs po on US imports ng mga products, a fixed exchange rate between the Philippine peso and the US dollar, and the parity rights for US citizens and corporations. So next dito po ay nagkaroon po ng constitutional amendments. So these amendments were approved by the Philippine Congress in a plebiscite noong 1946. So kaya po siya tinawag na post-war constitution because the Philippines faced many challenges after the war. So including physical destruction, kumbaga pati mga buildings natin, ating mga natural resources ay mga sira, and then loss of life ng mga tao sa ating bansa, mga farms na mga nagiba, and mga industries, transportation, communication facilities, even the US bases were destroyed by the Japanese. So, nandito rin po yung time na ito ay kung saan po this new amendments or changes in the Philippine Constitution or the Commonwealth Constitution was made. The 1935 Constitution was amended and changed during this time. Okay, the next one, after we have gained our independence from the Americans in 1946, martial law and the 1973 Constitution, the 1935 Constitution was changed during the martial law na. So it was a long time before the changes were made, and this one, during the martial law, ay nagkaroon po ng centralized power ang ating president and allowed for authoritarian rule. Now, what were the consequences of this shift in governance? Ang nangyari po ay
from being independent for a long time, di ba? From our first president during the Commonwealth government up to Marcos, di ba? So marami na pong dumaan ng mga presidente, but it was only after during Marcos's regime or kanyang presidency ay nagkaroon po ng changes in the Constitution. And the new Constitution was introduced in the Philippines. That's called the 1973 Constitution. So this 1973 Constitution was actually abusive daw po. So this was later on also amended into the 1986 Constitution. So the 1973 Constitution established a modified parliamentary government, and it also suspended the Bill of Rights ng ating Constitution ng mga tao sa ating bansa, and gave more power dun po sa executive branch. And the Constitution actually allowed citizens as young as 15 years old to vote without literacy or property requirements. So, kumbaga wala kang kahit hindi ka siguro resident sa isang lugar na matagal, something like that, di ba? Kasi ngayon merong requirement of residency before you become a voter, di ba? And then the legal age for voting is 18. So what were the differences between the 1987 and the 1973 Constitution? So the 1987 Constitution contains additional protections and principles compared to the 1973 Constitution in key areas such as the Bill of Rights, yung karapatan ng pantao or the human rights. Ito po yung pinahalagahan na binigay ng ating 1987 Constitution. Kung ikukumpara yung dalawang ito, Marcos and Aquino, diba? So they have very different contents. Kasi dito, sa 1987 Constitution, after the People Power Revolution, has restored democratic rights and emphasized on human rights. The democratic institution ang na-restore, and then it also emphasized on human rights. So this revolution influenced principles, okay. What were the influence of this revolution sa principles ng bago nating na nakikita po sa bagong constitution natin. So one of the things that they have emphasized are human rights, at na-restore na po yung democratic form of government natin. Kasi from 1973 ay medyo parliament po yung takbo ng ating government. So, this revolution actually occurred when the opposition leader, Benigno Aquino Jr., was assassinated upon returning from exile in 1983. Widespread outrage forced Marcos to hold the snap election a year early. So this election caused a small band of people to start the People Power Revolution. Then droves of people began to spill on the street because they want to pressure Marcos and his family to flee into exile. So his election opponent, Benigno Aquino Jr.'s widow, Corazon, was installed as president in February 1986. So Aquino began her term by repealing many of the Marcos-era regulations that has repressed the right of the people for so long. So in March, she issued a unilateral proclamation of establishing a provisional constitution. So itong constitution na to gave the president broad powers and great authority, but Aquino promised to use them only to restore democracy under a new constitution. So ang new constitution na to was drafted 133 days by an appointed constitutional commission of 48 members, and then later on was ratified in a plebiscite held in February 1987. So it was largely modeled after the American Constitution, tulad po ng ating 1935 Constitution,
but it also incorporated some of other international laws like Roman, Spanish, and Anglo law or English law. So itong ating 1987 Constitution, the President can even grant pardons and amnesty, especially if it's those are especially for prisoners during the Marcos regime or the 1973 Constitution pa ang humahawak sa mga prisoners na hanggang sa time ni Marcos and from Marcos time to the Aquino government, nagpardon po ang ating president ng maraming prisoners at the time. So, in 1992, Aquino replaced as president by the Defense Ministry na si Fidel Ramos. Pero we all know that the 1987 Constitution is still used until now. The Philippine Constitution is divided into 18 articles and it includes the following parts. Number 1, the preamble. Ito po yung preamble and I think most of you are being required to memorize the preamble for a graded recitation, but since I already assigned you a graded recitation for local history vlog, then I am going to skip this with you. Anyway, you will have your social science about the Philippine Constitution for an entire semester to study. So this is just going through with the short lesson of the Constitution. So preamble, it's the beginning of the Constitution. At makikita nyo po, the 1973 preamble is only slightly changed. Iba-iba po yung nagiging introduction na to ng ating Constitution. So, all the other articles are being also shown here. Article 1 is about the national territory. Article 2, Declaration of Principles of State and Policies. Principles and State Policies. Number 3, ito po yung Bill of Rights, yung sinasabing binigyan ng emphasis ng time ng 1987 Constitution. Then Article 4, the citizenship. 5 is suffrage or voting rights. Nandito po ninyo makikita kung saan po, ano po yung age na pwede ka nang bumoto as well as the qualifications of a voter and a candidate for the government na nagpapatakbo for office. Okay, so Article 6 is about the legislative government, which is your Congress and your Senate. Number 7, Article 7 is Executive Department, kung saan po napapaloob ang ating President and his cabinet members. Article 8, ito yung mga batas na nagko-cover naman para sa mga dapat gawin and qualifications of the Judicial Department, or ito yung mga judge natin, di ba? So, ang mga judge natin or mga hukom na naglilitis ng ating mga kaso, kung ikaw po ba ay guilty sa paglabag ng batas. Okay, kumbaga sa tatlong to, Legislative Department is the maker of the law, and Executive Department is the one executing or gumaganap ng mga batas na ginawa ng Legislative Department, at ito naman Judicial Department is the one correcting lahat ng hindi sumusunod sa ginawa ng Legislative at ng Executive Department. Okay? So, next one is your Constitutional Commission. Ito naman yung mga ombudsman, independent body, your COMELEC, your Commission on Audit. So, dito po napapaloob yung mga yan. And then, the Article 10, which is the local government, dito na po pasok po yung barangay, your LGUs, local government unit, na talagang, kumbaga, ay halos face-to-face na natin nakakaharap. Di ba, hindi naman natin nakakaharap ang Executive Department, which is the President of the Philippines, di ba? But the local government is the one closest to the people and governs the people in the lowest rank and file, kumbaga, which is the barangay. It's not an institute anyway. The smallest form of government pala, barangay. The lowest form. So na Article 11, accountability of public officers. Na Article 12, national economy and patrimony. Article 13, social justice and human rights. So meron na ang Bill of Rights, meron pa pong social justice and human rights. Article 14 talks about education, science and technology, arts and culture and sports. Article 15 is about the family. 16 is general provisions. Article 17, ito naman po kung gusto nyo mag-amend or mag-revise ng Constitution, ito po yung susundin ng mga batas. And Article 18 is transitory, hindi ko makita yung natatakpan ng aking camera. Article 18. Okay, so the Article 18 of the Philippine Constitution establishes the Commission on Appointments, which is responsible for reviewing and acting on the what do you call this one? Which appoints and gives the composition and responsibilities of government workers. Saglit lang po . Okay, I found my reference. So Article 18 is about transitory provisions. So transitory provisions of a constitutions are schedules and ordinances forming. Okay, I found what the transitory provisions in Article 18 means. So it says here that the Constitution are going to be in transition, or if power is being transferred from the old government to the new, and the new Constitution, before it can put into effect or to qualify, there shall be certain restrictions or limits that would become a permanent provision before becoming a permanent provision for a limited period. So their main purpose po is to obviate confusion from the old law or government ay magkakaroon po ng temporary or transient provision kung saan ay mag-a-adjust tayo from the old government to the new. So yun po ay may protection din po ang paglilipat ng powers, example po sa mga Senate or sa Congress. So there's a transitory provisions for all the powers that they hold in the government. So the provision stating that the government can be adopted or drafted ay magkakaroon po ng chance or a certain time or limited time to make adjustments. So dito po sa 18 articles na to in the Philippine Constitution, makapal po ito, and you can read it if you want and do some advanced studies. If you're interested to learn about certain laws, kapag hinanap mo ay tungkol sa iyong citizenship, you just go to Article 4. If you want to know more about your local government, all you need is to go to Article 10. And meron po ito mabibili sa ating mga bookstores or even online. You can read it. What certain amendments and provisions can be made sa present nating Constitution. Pwede nyo pong revisitahin or revisit the Article 17 of the Philippine Constitution. If you want to know more about, since you are more of you are from BTVTED or BTVTED, I have classes for the BTVTED here. Pwede nyo pong alamin lahat ng mga batas tungkol sa education in Article 14, which covers education, science and technology, arts, culture, and sports. Now, if you are businessmen or business women, maybe a Centrep students, all you need to do is also visit for example, your Bill of Rights, yung rights mo para sa iyong
sa iyong business or personal business? What about your accountability of public officers when you approach offices? Di ba? Kasi kukuha kayo ng mga business permit, kukuha kayo ng mga kung ano-ano pang mga papeles from the government to start your own business. So you can check the accountability of public officers, 'di ba? Pag pinuntahan ninyo sa isang public office at nakikita nyo yung nagla-lunch break sila, but we know that there are provisions about that, 'di ba? Bawal po 'yun kasi there should be no red tape in any government offices para po ma-serve o mapaglingkuran ang taong bayan in the complete 8 hour, 9 hours na open po ang opisina ng mga public servants natin or public services. So if you have further questions about this one, just comment in the YouTube section your questions, or if you have any more suggestions, but this one you can answer on your own. Dito po, isa sa mga tanong na to, what are your thoughts on the proposed changes sa bago pong constitution natin? And the 1987 remains in effect with various proposed amendments, and CHACHA is one of the move na ginagawa po na para po palitan at amyendahan daw po ang 1987 is constitution. So issues that include issues like federalism or federalismo, economic provisions, and political dynasties are being also suggested to make the changes in the present constitution. Sa tingin nyo, in your personal view, what are your thoughts if you can go through the 18 articles na yan? Ano pa yung maire-recommend niyo na mga karapatan or mga suggestions that you have to make changes dito po sa ating current 1987 Constitution? And that's the comment that I want to see in my YouTube lecture link. Doon ko po makikita ang sagot ninyo dito. What are your thoughts on the proposed changes of the current Constitution? Or even, you can even share your answers or of what current changes do you want to also inject, di ba? Idagdag. So if you have heard about the issues about federalism, mga pagbabago daw sa economic provisions, yung mga pagbabawal ng political dynasties, ay kayo po ang at lahat pa po, iba pa po mga articles na inyo pong nababasa at na-encounter sa ating current events. You can use that as your answer to share your thoughts on the proposed changes to the current constitution. So if you have any further questions, also feel free to post your questions in the YouTube comment section or in our GC, in our group chat for the class that we have under Readings in Philippine History. So thank you so much for spending the time, and I hope you have taken down notes and prepared your notes for a short quiz after this lecture. Thank you so much and have a good day.